Communication. It's a way of linking ideas and action or services. It's a way of clearly conveying a message so that it's received and feedback can be given. Communication allows us to build rapport and finesse the message. And it uses certain techniques. Now, those techniques I'm not really going to touch on because I am not going to teach you how to suck eggs. So things like doing the summary, the reflecting, the mirroring, the body language observations, I'm not really going to stress on those too heavily. What I am going to focus on is the intrapersonal skills that allow us to finesse our message, to build the rapport, and to be authentic, a person of integrity, and to be seen as a person of authority. Here's the key thing about communication. When we understand our authority, when we operate in integrity, and we are authentic, people do not resist what we are trying to convey. It's as simple as that. Hi, I'm Jen Joseph, releasing your confidence. So as I'm saying, I don't want to teach you to suck eggs. I'm not going to heavily rest on the mirroring, the reflecting, the summarizing, and all the other skills for active listening. What I am going to be dealing with during this 9 or so videos is the intrapersonal skills that make communicating with others effective. Let me use myself as an example. In my training, I was a masseuse specializing in Japanese and Swiss massage techniques. I was an HR director, and I am also an NLP practitioner. Now, in all of those trainings, there was a heavy emphasis on the observation of body language. As a masseuse, the emphasis was on observing the gait of my client. How did they walk? Where was their weight positioned? Were they going left or right, forward, hunched? How were they holding themselves? And this was to enable me to make an assessment as part of the design of the treatment that they were going to receive. If it were in beauty therapy, there would be an observation of the facial features to ensure that I had caught any contraindicating conditions for treatment. Now, sometimes clients were not always aware that they had underlying conditions. So clearly here, the body language element and being able to read the body, very important. As an HR director, also body language had to be key because, of course, there's this element of staff engagement and dealing with things like disciplines and interviews. So we would have to be able to read the person to ensure that we were getting a good fit. So for example, if a person was going for a labour job, then we had to be able to read their body movements to ensure that yes, they were, apart from any other test that we would present, that they were actually fit for work, because you can hide some things for a little while. An example again was in interviews, that sometimes in interviews people would leak certain things in their faces as they would respond, and from that you could get an indication as well for people's inner conversation and their attitude, and so be able to start forming an idea of whether that person fit the culture of the organization. And then there was my training as an NLP practitioner, and here this would help me to ensure that I was using the right techniques, the right modalities in order to help the person to move forward. Now, so all of that put together, it gave me a good grounding to understand some of the silent, covert elements of communication. Be aware of is that body language is going to give us a lot of clues in how we can communicate our message so that it is both received and internally interpreted so that it can be accepted. Now, what I am going to focus on, having told you what I'm not going to focus on, are things like curiosity, self-control, self-awareness, the intrapersonal skills also of combining all of our different attributes, i.e. our own body language, our attitude, what we leak out. You know, we need to be very, very aware of what we leak out to be more effective communicators. Now, when we are communicating, the first thing is that we're working from the idea that there is a message that we need to communicate. It's not that we're just emailing or texting or standing on a stage because we want to be paid. There is a message that needs to be communicated and received so that it can be interpreted to reflect the task or the intention that the communication was containing. This is key to beginning the communication, that we have an intention. So then, whether we are communicating with an individual or with a group, we ourselves have to have that coherence, that heart-brain coherence, so that the recipients feel that they are integral to the message, and so they can move along with us in the journey for whatever task or objective it is we have in mind. So I'd like you to join me over the next series of videos so that we can start to discuss some of these key elements to making us more effective in our communication, more intuitive in the way we read the audience or the individual, and certainly more authentic in what we're saying and doing, that the verbal matches the visual. Okay, bye for now. This is Jen Joseph, releasing your confidence. Bye.